Buckle up, excellence junkies, because this podcast is definitely for you. Welcome to Rocket Fuel. Do you wish that you could surround yourself with people that love to kick ass just like you? Well, come to my party, baby, and meet some of the brightest stars in the entrepreneurial galaxy, because it is my mission to give these entrepreneurs a platform to declare what they are on this planet to accomplish and to show you why they are rocket fuel. Hello, my Rocketeers. I hope that you are doing really well as we go through the holiday season. Jingling. Yeah, things are fun around here. End of the year is always a little crazy, right? Wrapping up business stuff, but my husband and I actually put together, this will be the 11th, or was the 11th year that we put together a free outdoor holiday concert called A Torrini Christmas. Yep. 11 years ago, when we were living in Cranford, New Jersey, we bought a house that had a pretty deep front yard, but it was also two blocks away from the center of town. And I looked at the house and the space, and I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if, and by the way, when I say this, my husband's always like, oh, whoa, Nelly, what's going on? But I perform in musical theater, or at least I used to a lot, and I hope that I can get back to it again. But I sing in bands and I perform, and so I just immediately thought, wouldn't it be cool to invite people to watch a holiday concert on our front lawn? Instead of like going around caroling like the traditional oldie timey way, we're on a main street and we have a deep front yard, and we could be the crazy people that say, hey, come on over and enjoy some cool music. And for some reason, my husband said, all right, let's try it out. Which he does for a lot of my crazy ideas, and I am very grateful for. But anyway, here we are 11 years later. We just moved from New Jersey, Cranford, New Jersey, to Lancaster, Massachusetts over the summer. And so for the first time in our Massachusetts home, we hosted a Torrini Christmas. And so I want to talk a little bit about connecting to your why, like why it is that you do something, and just reminding yourself of that when you sometimes feel like you are not doing things perfectly. All right. So the first time, it was literally just to bring joy to people. I mean, I have a lot of talented friends, and I know that we could bring joy to people, and it was kind of an easy thing in my mind. Now, when it came into the how it was actually going to be executed, I started adding all of these features on top of it, right? I started adding like, oh, okay, well, what about the lighting? What about the band? What about the music? And the da 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 and all this stuff. And every year I just had to kind of remind myself of the why we do it is to ultimately bring joy to people and bring people the just the gift of song. And so the first year we had a small cape. There was no porch or anything. We had to rent staging to put on in the front of the house, in the front lawn. It was cold, so we had some heaters, and when I look at the videos now, I'm like, it's a kind of wonky, not kind of wonky, very, very wonky. But so many people enjoyed the show just for its intention, right? When we were up there on our staging with really not that much. That many decorations or anything. We're figuring out the sound system and such. The message of the music and what we were trying to achieve was heard loud and clear. And so it encouraged us to do a little bit better next time, and a little bit better next time, a little bit better next time. And oh my goodness, we just had so many amazing memories, have so many amazing memories. Um, People that were in deep despair that needed to just have a reason to step out and be infused with joy. Um, Family members that are united because they come to the show together, people from different denominations, not even Catholics, coming just to enjoy the spirit of it. And last year, it was very tough for us because we didn't want to have the event on our front lawn. I mean, sometimes we could have 200 plus people on the front lawn, and we didn't want to do that because of COVID. And so we had decided to not have it until the people that bought our new home had said, "Oh my goodness, we just heard that this is something that you do on the front porch, and we would love to donate some money, from like the closing and stuff." We were kind of negotiating some stuff, and they're like, "You know what? Take the difference and put that towards your holiday concert." And we're like, "Oh crap. We weren't planning on having it this year." I guess that was the sign to have it. And there we it was just my husband and I. It was a Wednesday night, I believe, and I think like we had one day left before Christmas, and we whipped something together Wednesday night. We had a show on Thursday, and 3,500 people viewed that concert. 3,500 people we were able to deliver joy to imperfectly. Um, and once again, one of our best memories. But over the years, I would say that every single year that we were on the precipice of planning for it, felt so burdensome. And there were just so many things going on top of the holidays. And many of those years there were losses or illnesses or financial woes or all of these things that could have prevented us from doing it. And we always said to ourselves, but remember why we're doing it, to give the gift of joy. And as a result, we would feel joyful by doing that. And even though it felt really hard and we wanted to just quit sometimes, many times. And so this year, we're like, oh man, we're going to have it in our new house. And we don't even have a porch. By the way, in Cranford, New Jersey, after um, we had rented staging, we decided to actually build a whole porch and balcony onto our cape. Um, and it wound up looking really good, but it had to be a porch with no railings because we used it as a stage. And it was pretty funny explaining that to our contractors. But but this year, we're like, "Okay, we're in a new home. We're probably not gonna build a porch. Now we have to start all over again. Here's the staging. What are we gonna do for lighting? What are we gonna do for sound? Do we have enough long enough cables? And blah, 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 blah. Is anybody gonna show up?" Nobody knows us here. I mean, well, luckily, we have my husband's family, which is why we moved up here. Um, are people going to show up? And it kind of felt frustrating because we've just moved into the house in July. We're just in the process of finally making it our own, and contractors not showing up to do stuff, so the house doesn't look the way we would like for it, and all these things, right? All these excuses that you could throw in the mix to not do something. But when we connect to why, it was pretty simple. When we said, look, our objective is just to bring some joy. Like, if one person comes out being like, "Whoa, that's cool, you lit me up," like, that's worth it. It was worth it to us. We set that from the beginning. We were aligned with that. And, man, we were so lucky. I mean, we had 2 singers, mm, come, my favorite people to sing with, came all the way from New Jersey. They got here at like 5:30 in the morning on Friday, after a long day's work. And we rehearsed the Friday night before the show. And when things were imperfect, we just kept on saying, I kept on reminding them, guys, I know that you want to do like your very best and such. And I appreciate that. But do you realize that even your mediocre is going to be such a gift because of what our purpose, what our why is, which is just to be joyful and to give people the gift of song. And and that's what we did. And so in one of the concerts, the first concert, there's this little boy, 8, 9 years old, and he is just having a ball. I mean, honestly, like, I feel like, did somebody pay this kid? Because he's like the perfect audience member. He's just standing in the front and he's singing along and he's cheering and whooping and dancing and twirling and oh my goodness. And he's saying, "Thank you, thank you." And at the end of the show, he was saying, "Thank you. That was so great." And I'm like, wow, this is such a fantastically like behaved. This guy was in. He was all in. And I later found out that he was autistic, and his parents said it was just amazing to watch him. Sometime we were worried about bringing him to an event where there were a lot of people and a lot of children, and whether he would be overstimulated and such. And it was just amazing to see how engaged and clear and I just was stunned. Like I I had tears after the fact because as I'm absorbing it, I'm like, oh my goodness, this, like I said, this kid was like the perfect audience member. He was all in, and I was so thankful that he came again. His one of his parents, I think, brought him one of his sisters back for the evening show because we do a 2 o'clock and a 6 o'clock show, and like that one moment made it worth it. That one moment made it totally worth it. And and so why I share this with you guys is because sometimes we can throw up so many barriers to not doing something that will fulfill our heart, that will light us up, and that in turn will serve other people. And we're afraid of being imperfect. We're afraid of messing up, of not doing it as good as we could have done it and all that stuff. And as a result, we don't do it at all. And it's such a loss. It's a loss for us. We lose the opportunity to experience the happiness that we could experience by feeling accomplished that we did it, that we move forward, right? It may not have been like the 100% or 80% or 70% of what you thought it would, but you move forward, you moved closer to what it could have been. But then the person that you served that you had no idea would come into your sphere as a result of just going out there and listening to your calling, listening to your heart, to your why. So when something feels really, really hard and you're in the process of trying to like push forward, push forward, push forward, take a look at what might make it feel too heavy. Are you making it feel too heavy? I know I do it all the time, right? Are we throwing things onto onto the project, are we throwing things on our shoulders? Are we adding conditions, to the situation? Oh, but it has to be like this if it happens like this, or uh, what are we doing that is adding unnecessary sludge and weight and barriers to just completing what we desire to do in our hearts? And I think it's helpful to sometimes reconnect with why you're doing it, because it's that grounding point well, wait, why am I doing this? Okay. If I do it maybe this other way that I didn't expect it, will I still achieve my why? Yeah. Yeah. If I do it on staging and, you know, if our sound is a little off, would it still achieve? Yeah, because somebody who's there could still hear it, you know? If I don't have like the great outfit because I'm not in shape, I'm not in the shape that I would like to be in for whatever reason. 2 kids, I haven't gotten back on, on the treadmill, right? Um, oh, I don't have an outfit that looks, well, let's suck it up. Like I know when I look at myself, I'm like, oh Lordy, why did I wore my maternity sweater, right? But that experience happened. And so I ask you guys to reflect on something that you may be struggling with right now and reconnect to your purpose and to your why. And I hope that it allows you to release the struggles. And here's my daughter that's coming in here to release the struggles and to make your path to fulfilling your heart a little bit easier. All righty. Can you say wave goodbye? My daughter just joined us here on the Rocket Fuel podcast. I hope you have a wonderful day, Rocketeers. And I wish you much joy as you plan your 2021. Bye now. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. Look, every one of our episodes is boosted by a value-packed keyword called a catchword. Yeah. This allows our audiences to text to receive even more value from our guests. So take advantage of that great value. And if you share your expertise by guesting on podcasts or TV or speaking in front of live or digital audiences, then you're leaving anonymous fans behind. So go get a catchword at catchwords.com, KETCH words.com, and use podcast20 as a promo code for 20% off your setup fee. Look, make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the Rocket Fuel podcast so you never miss your jolt of rocket fuel. Until next time, adios.